Welcome to Top Tier Players, where we tier maker on a Friday when everyone's a bit drunk.
Yeah,
well, we are anyway.
Well, we're getting there.
We're a bit drunk.
So we're going to take like about 12 to 15 possibly entries of a specific theme, and we're going to rank them.
We looking at 12 motherfucking Capcom games.
Yeah.
So we're going to be ranking these based on just how good we think the games are.
Yeah.
Not necessarily ranking them like compared to each other.
Yeah.
They're not all the same.
Yeah,
genre,
they're not all the same.
Obviously. We've got some. We're gonna have some ups. We're gonna have some downs. We're gonna have some disagreements, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, you in chat, if you're watching this on the VOD on YouTube, you should get involved with us in chat by going to twitch.tv/HPVG and join us live as we actually critique and create these tiers.
Or yell at us on Twitter or yell at us on the YouTube, because no two people's lists
are going to be
the same. I know that. Do we think our polls necessary?
We'll see how it goes, but we definitely want some opinions from the chat when it comes to this here.
If we
can't agree, I think the poll could be a great time maker.
If it's not unanimous,
sorry.
I've got one way of thinking and you've got another way of thinking. Maybe I think a poll could probably break that tie.
Yeah, I think if we could take that time and snap it with a poll, just break a poll. We hit of a poll and break it over.
I'm gonna pull it up, son.
Yeah, it's a big poll.
Get your big polls out.
Get your big polls out for the lads.
For top tier player.
So for this year, we got a few different tiers. We got the best, we got great, we got good, we got meh, and we got get in the bin.
Get in the bin.
Get in the bin.
See that bin over there?
Get in the bin.
Get in that fucking bin.
So with this one here, we wanted to take some of the titles we actually featured on Skippable Cutscene this week. That way, just guys, if you didn't know the games before, we can give you a little bit of insight. It could be educational, but it could also be a part where we get to share some opinions. And then we got some ones that we didn't feature that we think that could be games that you should check out from the publisher.
Funnily enough, by doing a Capcom tier maker, I mean, you could have 100 games in here.
You could we could have had literally games going back from the 80s through to today. I could have had 1943 and stuff in here.
Yeah,
and that's a great game. That's a great shmup.
It's a great shmup. This is the thing. We used to do this. What was it on a Monday night?
It was Tier Maker Mondays. Tier Maker Mondays. About a year and a half ago. Tier Maker Mondays.
Yeah, it was a good system. I'm not sure. The last time we done it, you were we spent 4 hours on one.
And you know what it was though? We had 50. We always had 40 or 50 entries.
Yeah, we had a lot of entries, so I thought we'll tighten it up a little bit
for an hour or so.
Yeah,
we'll just talk about a small selection of whatever the theme is.
Yeah. So next week, this might be a big bunch of Activision games.
Could be a big bunch of Activision games.
It'll be 20 Call of Duty games.
But here's the thing: if the games are featured in the tier maker, we're always going to do the tier maker after the skippable, because
that's why we changed it. That's why we changed the order.
It's because we didn't want to give you too many clues.
No clues here.
We're a little bit of a dick like that.
Oh, sneaky.
We're a little bit sneaky like that. So we're going to go through them now. There's no real expressed order. You can pick from one of the games you see in front of you first.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones in sequence, but pick a game and let's start ranking it.
Let's start with one. Let's start with one we know is going to do really well, and then the next one is one we know it's going to do really badly, and then we can filter.
All right, because when we get our barometer.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
I want to start with the best, which I think is the best game on that list.
Right, go for
Dante's Awakening.
So you want to put in Devil May Cry, and you're thinking that's going into the best?
That has to be in the best.
Best
of the best.
Okay, tell me why you want to go in the best.
Cream of the crop, tip of the top. It's the best Devil May Cry game, and that's a series that has that's pretty consistently high games.
It had one fumble.
We'll not talk about that. That's the black sheep. The Devil May Cry 1, a spoopy game.
Mm-hmm.
A spoopy game. Maybe a bit
started off as a tech demo for Resident Evil 4.
Yep. Maybe a bit too spoopy for some people. I've seen a couple of people say that Devil May Cry 1 is maybe just a little bit too scary for them, because it's very ominous. It has a very ominous tone. And some people are just I can't handle how hard it was, because it was very difficult. It was very difficult on anything but on anything but normal or easy automatic. It was really tough because they hadn't worked out they hadn't worked out their difficulty yet. 2 was a horrible bastard of a game. It was a terrible game that we all hated. The developers didn't like it. But 3, my God, 3 4 was okay. It was mostly the Nero show, and I didn't want Nero. I wanted Dante, and I didn't even really like the version of Dante in 4. He was a wee bit. There wasn't enough Dante in 4.
Well, not Dante in 4 is kind of like you are just backtracking where Nero came from.
Yeah, and then
it's
5,
like the reverse game.
And then 5, he was old man Dante, which is fine. But that 3 is just that sweet spot. Like, I would play that game if it was a fucking turn-based RPG. But that version of Dante, that young spunky version with the fucking tight ass haircut, and the leather coat with no shirt on underneath. There's very few characters that could pull that off. They could pull that off and not seem like a dickhead. Devil May Cry 3 Dante is the pinnacle of what made Dante cool. The intro cutscene has him eating pizza in slow motion, for Christ's sake. That's all you need.
So that's what we could ask is a good question here. DMC, the reboot, was that not considered a bastard child?
I like DMC 3.
It was won by Ninja Fury.
Yeah, it was a great game. It wasn't necessarily a Devil May Cry game though. It was very like that kind of like cheesy. You know, like Devil May Cry 3 was so cheesy. Come see our edgier Dante. It
also had like the lead developer insert.
Yeah.
The lead developer inserted himself as Dante.
Yeah, that was not great.
That was a bad look.
That was around that time. It was happening in DMC. It was happening in Deus Ex, where like they were putting faces. Developer, like, you know, like, oh, I'm the face of this game. Like, fuck off. The gameplay of DMC was great. Like, it was a really great it handled really well.
It was a great gameplay, nice just around terrible trappings.
Yeah, the story wasn't great. None of the characters were great. It wasn't really a very good version of Dante at all. But the game itself was fine. But I would put Devil May Cry 3 down. I'll fucking go back and play that game 100 times. Like
the reason why 2 is the bastard child is like everything that makes Devil May Cry work.
They got rid of it.
Like,
it had no style. It had
there was no style, no substance. Like a game that's known for its amazing,
barely any cutscenes or anything.
But a game that's known for its amazing melee combat with flair and substance gave way to I just stand back and use the guns.
Yeah, just going to shoot everything.
Because the guns ultimately do more damage more consistently.
Yeah,
and the swords you get are just like varying speeds. With like maybe minor damage implications, where like a lot of the Devil May Cry games are known for like weapons with outlandish looks and styles and aesthetics and stuff.
If you want to know why Devil May Cry 3 is the best Devil May Cry, just go on YouTube and just watch a supercut of the cutscenes.
Yeah,
they're the best. I think still they're hands down the best cutscenes I've seen in a game.
I hear people call him Dante or
Dino. Dante and name only. Dante is pretty good.
I like that.
It's not bad. But
so you want to take this here and you want to put that there?
Right fucking in there.
I'm okay with that.
Right in there.
I'm going to say we'll have one veto each if we don't agree on something.
Sure, that's dead on.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we won't.
Are we picking something that's going in the bin?
What do you think should go in the bin? Because I know what I think should go in the bin.
I think I have an agreement. Is it the 5th entry in that list?
Yeah.
Do you want to put Bionic Commando in the bin?
Bionic Commando needs to go in the bin, and let me tell you why Bionic Commando needs to go in the bin.
My arm. It's my wife.
It's like it was like a game with it was meant to be like basically the modern adaptation of the Bionic Commando games, which was a great side scroller with like this weird mobility and the use of like a bionic arm to swing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they somehow managed to turn it into this open environment game where there was a lot of visible walls, very clunky movement, really terrible story, kind of boring generic shooter combat.
See, unfortunately, it was just out at the time where games were just doing that like generic. Everything is just brown and everything's just kind of shit, and everything was very like, we're like ultra fucking gritty and like. It wasn't very interesting. Like, the only thing that people remember about this game is like what was bad about it,
and wife farm.
Yeah,
like there was this whole segment at the very end. Like, the big twist was that your wife's like DNA or like body was put into the arm.
She sacrificed herself to become your arm, or something like that.
Yeah, it's the reason why the arm grafts so well to you is because it has that emotional connection to you.
Your wife's pussy's in it.
Yeah, it's like 1 second. I'm just gonna get a feel of my wife.
It was also weird because like, what did you call the main character? His name was like Rad Thompson or something like that.
Something like that.
He was like The original Bionic Commando and then Bionic Commando Rearmed, which is arguably better than this one because it was a remake of the original, but with like new kind of like graphics and kind of slightly updated gameplay. They changed him from like he had like a buzz cut, sunglasses. He was like dead goofy. He was like running about in like a wee like kind of cut off army vest, and he was like ha ha ha. And then in this one, he's like a white guy with dreads and a camo tank top. You're like, that's not the same character at all. It just like it was one of those games that like it gave him like a really pointless like modern edge for no reason. It was like the character did not benefit from your crappy update.
No, it did not. Maybe it was just very insensitive.
Get out of here.
It's like
get out of here. Get out of here.
A little,
and into the bin.
Get into the bin. Seems a little bit sexist. Yeah, it's like, was his wife's only good for being his arm?
Yeah, it's that whole thing where like your character only progresses forward when the sacrifice is they've lost their girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
Like,
right. It's like, yeah, that's cool.
Fuck off.
Why did that need to happen? Why did that need to be the plot point? It's like, oh, I can't have an arm unless my wife dies? Yep. Why is that the case?
I mean, that's how I got my arms. I killed both my wives. And then just fashioned them into some arms.
Right, better plots, you dick.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's why we put it in the bin. And much like Jake says, we're going to set the bin on fire.
The bin will be set on fire when the show's done.
So we've set our gravitational points to where we think is the very best versus the very worst here. Here's an idea by Commando, but it's badass woman with no dumb plot. Right, I would play that. I would play that.
Infinitely better game.
Infinitely better game. Infinitely better. If
he was having a wank, was he having sex with his wife? I mean, to be fair, if you tried to have a wank with a bionic arm, you'd probably rip your dick off.
Yeah.
So maybe
at what point he becomes even more of a bionic commando?
Because he's going commando.
Because he's going to have to get a robot dick.
Right, and that's where the grappling hook comes out of. Just his peen.
Spoilers. Also his wife.
Oh shit! They would attach his wife to his cock.
Yeah. Because like the way they write this game, why would it not be? Like they'd probably just be grafting his wife onto him everywhere.
Yeah, just body parts.
Yeah,
it's like
everyone playing be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah. And the developer, like, yeah, just put his wife on him everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like his body is just half him and half his wife's. They just cut him down the middle and put half his wife's body on him. Like, that's not helpful.
Yeah,
but fuck him.
Like they could have like made it so much more interesting. It's like, oh yeah, we can only graft this arm to you, but like the end result is you're gonna have to take like some like weird cantankerous concoction so the arm doesn't reject you. Because the idea is that the arm wouldn't. It's the idea so the arm doesn't reject him. Because the way the human body will jettison anything that it doesn't feel like. You can
reject a transplant.
Yeah, you can reject it. The idea is that his body wouldn't jettison the arm because his wife. He wouldn't jettison his own wife. It's like you could have, which I get. I mean, I guess that's love. Guys, but I mean,
that is a tip. Do not jettison your wife.
But like, I mean, they could have made it so much more interesting, like a serum that like maybe like slowed down or reduced it.
Let's stop talking about Bionic Commando.
Well, we're setting the reason why we think it's a shit game.
I think we all know why it's a shit game. I don't want to waste any more of my time talking about.
Well, twist the next game. He's literally just in his wife now.
There you go. The sequel is just a woman. Or you're a woman with a bionic arm.
It's why piercings can grow out your body. It's just like, what the fuck is this? Get the fuck out.
Get this the fuck out.
So what's our next game? Well, we set our points here.
Are we just going from what's available next and then working our way through?
I would say what makes you feel good. Like busting makes me feel good.
Busting makes me feel good. See, most of the games we've got left, I would put in either best or great. But I guess we're probably gonna have to do a wee bit more kind of.
I think that's a very interesting point because I could put some into good, great, and I could put some into
okay.
Meh.
Well, you know what? I'll move it on to you next.
Right. So are you gonna?
I'm gonna tell you a game, and I want to know where you're gonna put it.
Right.
Where are you putting Street Fighter 4?
Indestructible. I'm probably gonna put that in great.
I thought that's where it was gonna go.
That would go in great for me. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Because. The best is 2.
Best around. I would say Third Strike. But that's not here either. So.
That's not here.
I have no objection to that. I think 4 was a great game. It had a bit of a rough start with all the on-disc DLC and shit.
No, the on-disc DLC was in relation to Tekken X Street Fighter.
Oh, 4 done that as well?
Are you sure?
Oh, 100%.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. 4 done that too.
I thought the controversy came with Street Fighter X Tekken.
No, four had a ton of on this.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's why it had a bit.
I
of
thought
a
that was
start.
I thought that was Street Fighter X Tekken and Street Fighter 5.
They both did.
I wasn't aware that
yeah.
that permeated in 4.
Street Fighter 4 had a bit of a cantankerous start. Like it was.
No, it was 5 that had a cantankerous start because 5 was the one. That
well, five had a bit of a rough start for different reasons, but also some of the same reasons the 4 did. Where 4 100% had characters that were on that disc that you had to pay for.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
But 4 ended up as a great game. It's still like some people will say it's still better than 5 because 5. 5 didn't really add anything. It just took away, if I remember correctly.
So they launched 5 without a single player story.
It had no story, but didn't it take away the EX system and added like the cross?
No. It had the EX system and then it also had the V system, the V trigger system.
The V trigger system. I think people preferred the EX stuff to the V trigger stuff though, because not everyone.
EX was in there. EX was part of your you could EX your moves, which powers up your moves. Yeah. But it also had the V trigger system, which was almost like a revenge meter. It's like I will V trigger and then suddenly I will do an additional boost of like double damage for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
or 7 seconds.
But it definitely seems like between Street Fighter 4 and 5, more people are still playing 4 than they are 5.
Oh yeah, well 4 is the more balanced game. So like the reason why people love 4 is because 4 kind of takes the tenets of 2 and brings it into a modern,
just a wee bit more 3D.
It's 3D. It's 2.5D, I guess, but it also has that. It also has the parry system where you can absorb a hit and then do an ink hit. It's like
the ink thing. That's
good
shit.
So I would put Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4.
Where is that? Right, I put that there.
This is what I find important about Street Fighter 4. About Street Fighter games, 3D games especially. It has an absolutely phenomenal version of Chun-Li and Cammy.
They've got.
That's why I would put it.
Incredible fights.
That's why I would put it in great. The models in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fighting's pretty good, but
the
models are better.
tell you who looks pretty fucking good in that game. Who looks hot in that game?
Bison.
Ken
is pretty good looking.
Ken's a good looking lad.
I think I prefer I think this was 5. The homeless Ryu. The shirtless, bearded Ryu.
Oh, you were like...
That's a good Ryu.
Yeah, no, that's a good Ryu. Like a rugged Ryu. Like, that's kind of like that's daddy Ryu, you know? It's like, oh, daddy.
Was that 5? Was that 5's version of Ryu?
They had a skin for that, I believe.
I thought that was the main version of Ryu in 5, though.
I haven't played 5 too much, so I can't remember.
I'll go out on a limb and say that the default version of Ryu in 5 is the shirtless, bearded Ryu. Like, that's a Ryu who's seen some shit, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, because he's at this point he's probably faced off against Akuma quite a few times, and that plays into like, I mean, Akuma is kind of like Ryu's. Like, people think Ken's Ryu's ultimate rival. They're like best friend rivals. Where right. Akuma is like the true evil of Ryu because he uses the Dark Hado.
The fucking Dark Hado. Goddamn Dark Hado.
The Dark Hado. Like, the Hado is their fighting style, but there's a grimmer version called the Dark Hado, which is a style that predicates on killing more than actual the art of and honor of fighting. Yeah, I am a fucking nerd.
I mean, like, it's all good. Ken and Ryu are just mates. They're just mates. Like, one gets better.
They train
the
under
other
the same
tries.
master.
They try to like one up each other. But it all comes from a place of friendship.
Yeah.
Fuck Akuma though.
Akuma is like,
fuck him.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you with your own move. Because there's also evil Ryu, which we don't like.
That's when he succumbs. That's when he succumbs to the Dark Hado.
We don't like that. We don't like evil Ryu. I want shirtless, bearded Ryu.
You want shirtless, bearded Ryu?
Yeah. And I want... Oh shit, which version of Chun-Li is it? I think it's Third Strike Chun-Li, where she has like the blue and yellow bodysuit.
Oh, you talking about where she's like wearing the pants? Because like she wears like full blue navy pants in that, I believe.
Yes.
Where like
with a little waistcoat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's where like other versions of Chun-Li where she's like wearing like the more traditional.
I do like the traditional Chinese dress
but I like the sort of like dark brown tights.
Yeah. That's classic Chun-Li.
Classic Chun-Li.
But my favorite is Third Strike Chun-Li.
Where she's got like the waistcoat thing and the navy pants.
She's got that Game of Death suit on.
Yeah. Chun-Li's a great character. I love Chun-Li.
I mean,
hard to play as though.
Yeah, hard to play as.
Hard
but
to play as.
Good to look at.
True.
What are we moving on to next?
Well, I wanted to just acknowledge what Jake said there. Every time we say V-Trigger, it reminds of wrestling. Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's a massive gamer.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. He loves him some fucking Street Fighter. I think he is a what's the guy who's the prison guy in it called again?
Cody.
He's a Cody main. Yeah. Kenny Omega's a Cody main, if I remember correctly.
Does anyone have any disagreements with where we have?
Yes. So far, guys, in the chat, like, what do you think of the game placements? Anything you should say differently? I mean, if these are games you've not played before, I would recommend maybe you look into, except for Bionic Commando, because fuck that game.
Fuck Bionic Commando.
But yeah.
Do you want to pick one? Me?
I want to know your opinion, and I think this will be an interesting one. There's only a few I have actually played, so this could be an education then for people.
That's funny because you say there's only a few on this he's actually played. He guessed every fucking cutscene in the Capcom cutscene guessing game. Piece of shit.
I only kind of give a shit about Monster Hunter World.
Come on, you guys, you need to expand your gaming knowledge.
Well, I mean, this is an opportunity for them maybe to hear us talk about these games. That sounds like interesting.
Right, hit me. What do you think?
I want you to explain to people what Okami is, and then I want you to know where you would put Okami, because I think Okami is definitely a game that a lot of people have maybe heard of or has been in the periphery of their mind, but they're not really fully aware of what Okami is.
Yeah, you see, this is the thing. I looked at this list earlier on. When I got here, I said to you, I'm putting
you were like
at least 9 or 10 of these games in the best. My favorite game of all time is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Okami is Ocarina of Time, but you're a wolf.
You're a
lady wolf.
You're a lady wolf who will fuck up feudal Japan.
I fucking loved Okami. I would put it in the best. I know it's not a game that a lot of people have played. It had some stuff, maybe now in like the modern light of day, that would be quite annoying because it's like, like camera stuff and platforming things that have since been over like people have since overcame, and it might be a little bit old now. I'm pretty sure Okami has a HD remake. I think it may be was it a Wii U or a Switch thing or something?
I think it might have been a PS4 remake.
PS4,
as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you haven't played Okami, rectify that. It's a great not open world, but it's like a area based action adventure, very strong character driven kind of thing. I fucking loved it. I thought it was great. It has so much style. Like, it still looks great. It's like cell shaded, without those kind of like harsh black lines. Tons of personality. Loads of like really like neat but intuitive game mechanics with like the painting and stuff.
Yeah.
Combat was like really fun. Great story. I would put Okami's either going in great or the best.
I need you to make a decision. Now, bear in mind, see if you're putting everything in the best.
Yeah.
The problem if you put a lot of things in the best,
okay,
do you dilute how good the best is?
Okay, I understand that. Put it in great.
Okay.
Put it in great.
It's just one of those things where like you gotta understand
is
that.
To be fair, Ford and Okami kind of
they merge together. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Neatly together.
Hit me with one.
I want you.
What I want you.
What I want you. I'm trying to think of like something that I know you've played though.
I have played all of these.
Okay.
With the exception of Dragon's Dogma, I played all of these.
Right. Well, I'll take Dragon's Dogma then. Where would you put Azura's Wrath?
I think Azura's Wrath is probably one of the best spectacles you'll ever see. I think Azura's Wrath is kind of like, if people are into like the idea of Goku and sort of like the Dragon Ball Z epic fights, I feel like Azura's Wrath is everyone's alley who love that term. And I think it's a great game, but I can't put it beyond good because the gameplay is fun, but the spectacle is better than the gameplay. Like those cutscenes with those with the quick time events are amazing, and it's world beating and it's like epic looking. But then when you get down to the normal game, it's pretty average.
I can't argue with that. I want to, but I know you are right. Like, thinking back about that game, it has some of the best quick time / cutscenes that there has ever been in a game.
Yeah.
there's a fight that happens on the moon.
Yeah,
where you
and
you just decimate the moon.
You just blow up the moon in a fight.
Yeah, someone punches and they miss a punch, so they just punch through the moon and explode the moon. You're like, this is one of the best things that I've ever seen in my life. But
it's ridiculous.
Azura's Wrath would work just as well as like an animated movie as it would as a game. Like the moment to moment gameplay in Azura's Wrath that wasn't boss fights was not great. It was just fine. It was like your standard I'm a runabout and just punch people in a room until something truly interesting happens. But like the highs in that game,
the highs are like sky high, and the lows are quite mediocre.
Yeah, and also it hit its real ending between like it hit its real ending in a DLC, which was not good.
Yeah,
it was like the game just kind of ended, and then like a year later they released the DLC patch, and people were like, "Damn."
So I would put that in good.
Okay, and that's like Azura's Wrath is another one of those. If you've never heard of it, just Google like Azura's Wrath moon fight. And witness maybe the best fight that there has been in a game.
Yeah.
Because it's just great. That motherfucker's got 6 arms and he just beats the shit out of you with all 6 of them.
He just fucking literally, he just goes. Like he has no, he just fucks people up with these, in this really fucking like insane cutscene. And like it's a game of like just ludicrous cutscenes.
It is the game that I think semi-populated quick time events. Because they weren't difficult, they weren't hard, but you needed to be involved enough. Because it was a lot of like button mashing.
The thing is, you get comfortable. You set the controller down for like a hot minute, and then
it's like, here, press Y.
You're like, oh, what the fuck?
30,000 times while you absolutely obliterate someone's face, which don't get me wrong, is amazingly fucking fun. But yeah, the running about the actual levels. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was enough to carry the game through. Right, hit me.
You want me to hit you?
Yeah.
I need you to talk about Dragon's Dogma because it's one I've never played. Right. And I want you to talk me through this.
Dragon's Dogma. How do I explain Dragon's Dogma? It's going in good.
Okay, like, so it's going to go in good. So you just want me to put that right there for you?
There's no question that it is not a good game.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of that Capcom jank in it, where a lot of stuff that was moved to like pointless inventory management and weird shit like that is not great. It doesn't have the best story as far as like an actual single player story goes. It's very much just go here, kill this, go there, kill that. What you're doing doesn't really matter. But it was what you're doing was fun. The pawn system where you have like 2 or 3 computer controlled characters just around you at all time, never getting in your way, never being useless, only ever helping, which was, that never happens.
That never happens in fun games.
Yeah, if I say like if you pick like a mage character or something like that, bring 2 warriors and a medic with you or whatever, and you're just like, but just the monster combat that it had was insane. Like,
I heard that game is incredibly difficult.
It's not
at the start, at least. Like there's a curve. There's a curve to the learning of it.
At the start, it is a bit rough. It's a bit, but just once you get used to how the game handles, like monster encounters, it'll like one of the first missions is just like you start at a village by the seaside, and then you're killed by a giant dragon, and then you're reborn or whatever. And then you have to go from the seaside town to like a fort in the middle of the map, and you're like, right, let's fucking go. And you go on like a wee trek, and you think you're kicking the shit out of all these like little harpies and all this like all these pieces of shit monsters that don't matter at all. And then suddenly it's night, and there's a tiger running at you that's half a scorpion. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And it's just on you, and it's beating the shit out of you. And then you jump on it, you jump on its back, and you just hold on, and it's just running through the forest, but you just fucking holding on for dear life as you're beating the shit out of it. You're like, I don't know what's going on, but I am having so much fun that I don't even care that this is terrifying.
So Jake was saying the pawn system was cool.
Yeah, yeah, the pawn system was good stuff.
So I gotta ask then, like, if Jake has played this here, where would you put it on the list?
Jake, where would you put it?
But like, bear in mind, where we put it, don't let that influence you.
Yeah.
Like from time to time we might ask you guys if you played the game. Let us know where you put it on list. Don't let our opinions influence you. Your opinion's valid. We would like to know where you put it though.
Dragon's Dogma had one of the first console-based mob bosses that I had ever seen. There was what did you call it? The Abyssal Dragon, where you had to log in and fight it in an arena that kind of like contributed to like a global score.
Right.
So like the dragon had like 4 million hit points, and you could go in and maybe do like 20 or 30,000, and then it would fucking kill you, and you would go in again and you would do it. But it had like a global health meter, so everyone was just hacking away at it. And it's like you had 2 weeks to beat the dragon, and I was living with Kurt at the time, and he was fucking there. He was there when they beat it. I was like beating the shit out of it all day. It's like, I'm gonna kill this fucking dragon. And then I had to go to work, and I got a fucking message on my phone like an hour later being like, oh yeah, I was in the lobby when we killed that dragon. I got all these weapons. I was like, I'm gonna fucking strangle you. But it was fucking great. Like, yeah, grabbing onto the griffin, grabbing onto all these like weird like mythological monsters, like trolls and fucking like weird stuff, things from like fucking Jason and the Argonauts and all, and you're just climbing up it, you're just hacking the shit out of it. It was a really great mechanic that they've never put in another game.
So this is the interesting thing as well. Is like they actually launched like the PS4's tech demo with an actual sequel that never came to fruition.
Oh, was that Deep Down?
It might have been Deep Down, but like they talked about this Dragon's Dogma sequel that never came to light.
See, there was Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which was the DLC, and that was fucking brutal. That was so fucking hard. I got about half an hour into that and just couldn't do it. I was like, it's so difficult, but it was pretty rewarding, but it was pretty punishing as well. Like sometimes you just got to a place that you were just not ready to fight people in, and it was crazy. But like the basic system of just like climbing on back of this huge monster and just beating the ever loving shit out of it was never not good.
Interesting. Jake said I'd agree. He put it in the good as well. So that's interesting. So what are you going to hit me with?
See, I would hit you with the other fighting game, but I know I've played more of that than you have.
Yeah, that's fair.
That Dead Rising 1 or 2.
That's 2.
You play much of that?
I played a bit of it.
Where would you put Monster Hunter?
Where would I put Monster Hunter?
Where would you put Monster Hunter?
You're talking Monster Hunter World?
Monster Hunter World.
You want to know where I put that? That would go...
World for winner.
That would go right fucking... here for me.
You got me there. I thought you were going to put it in great.
That would go right there. That game is amazing.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World is phenomenal.
Monster Hunter World rocks my world.
It is one of the best fucking games that's been made in the last 10 years, because that game just is like... There's just something about that game. When you play it by yourself, you have a ton of fun, right?
Playing it with people
but playing with your friends, if playing with your friends, it's even better.
Yeah, because we had a little stream of it.
We had a little stream of it. Like, there's just something great about it. Like, it's just super fun. The fights are like really interesting. The scope of the weapons is just so like deep that you can just find any sort of style. It looks amazing. It has like this beautiful just scenery to it. Like, there's a great kind of like weird story to it. Like, it's like it's one of the games that uses like I would say a stamina-based attack system, and it's fucking great.
That isn't a load of balls.
So not great. It's so good. Yeah. It's one of the best games.
The only thing
Capcom has came out.
The only thing I don't like about it is that I feel guilty for killing some of the monsters in it.
Didn't like Monster Hunter World. Bored the crap out of me.
Fuck's sake, Ocean, get some friends. Fuck's sake.
I was gonna fight for it to go into good. I mean,
I kind of like I got it. I had a bit of an odd experience with it because I grabbed it months after all you lot were all after.
No, don't lower it. I'm not lowering it. I'm not lowering it.
I played it months after everyone else had kind of been done with it.
Yeah,
and I still loved it. I was like, this is amazing. I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Ocean. I'm not saying you don't have any friends.
It's one of those things where like, I thought you were going to put it much lower, and I would have had to fight for it to go into good. Oh no. I was just doing that dickhead thing where I was going to try and like, and I'm guilty of doing that with tier makers. I always make you think I'm going to put something somewhere, and then I swerve you a little bit. But like, oh, Monster Hunter, like there's part of me that kind of wants to buy it for the PC every so often, just play it with people on PC because
it has to be quite cheap by now. Like.
Oh yeah, I just noticed people that have it on PC that I never got to play it with.
Because I know that Iceborne DLC is like a whole other big thing.
Yeah, it's a whole massive thing as well, and it's just so good. Like,
and there's more stuff. There's actually more stuff coming out for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you can pick up that game, and like that game is fun from day 1 to day 400. That game is still great. Maybe it's actually Dave like
not so wicked. Has it on PC?
Has it on? But yeah, there's another one. Like I know like Totanium and Jermaine stuff had it on. They were talking about it. Like there's a lot of people. I would if people had it on PC they were like, here, yo, you want to play Monster Hunter? I would drop the $20 there. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. I want to drop $20 on. Let's
get a fucking character on that bad boy.
Just go for it. Because now I can do it. Now I can just be like, motherfucker. I can just run it and just.
This cunt over here.
This cunt right over here. So yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, just give me it, just stick it in my veins. Let's fucking go. I just love Monster Hunter. Like I had such a good time with it, and then we played it together in that session like about 4 or 5 months ago, and we had a fucking blast doing it then as well.
Yeah, it was good shit.
Like every time I pick up that game, it's just fun. Like regardless of the monster you're taking on, it's always fun. Even if it's a wee shitty bastard, right up to a fucking goddamn
a big boy,
big fucking dragon with like 500 fucking.
Yeah, it was starting to get really tough when I like kind of beat it. I was like, oh jeez, this is ridiculous. But I know like I never even played much of like the Iceborne stuff. It was like, right, I finished the main game. I'll go back and I'll keep doing the Iceborne stuff. I ran out of space on my PS4. Because I was starting to play other stuff, and I was like, Jesus, Monster Hunter is taking up like 112 gig of space. Like, I need to get rid of it. I'll go back to play it at some point, and I haven't went back yet, unfortunately. But I will.
Yeah, that's where I'd put Monster Hunter. Like, I mean, I think that game's great. I think that game's amazing. Next one. I would like to know where you would put Dead Rising.
This is Dead Rising 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, people may not agree with me on this one.
Is people being me?
I don't know because I don't know how you feel about Dead Rising.
Okay, let's put it. Let me see. Let's see where you put it.
Right. Okay, right. Like, close your eyes. Right, close your eyes.
My eyes are closed. Right. Tell me when I can open them.
Okay, right. Close your eyes. Okay,
my eyes are fucking closed.
Right, keep closed. Keep closed.
Right. Tell me when I can open them.
Okay, right. Go.
That's exactly where I would have put it.
I really wasn't fussed on Dead Rising 2.
I think Dead Rising as a concept's kind of shit.
Unfortunately, I liked the first one, and then I just never liked any of the rest of them. I don't know what it was.
I feel like they got progressively better, but like when you start off at shit and get progressively better, it doesn't mean you're great.
I guess like the concept of Dead Rising 1 with like there was like the really ridiculous like time limit and stuff. It worked against it, but it was also like one of the only things that really made it all that interesting. And then by the time you got to Dead Rising 2, it was the same thing. Like they made it a little bit easier, but it was just like escort mission the game. I was like,
yeah.
No.
And like the lunatics kind of became boring as well after a while.
3 was about vehicle combat, which fine, whatever. And then 4. Did anyone play 4?
I considered it when it was on Game Pass, and then I thought better of it. Like
so
I thought a game better of it.
A game that was technically free, you didn't even feel like it was worth your time.
But you know what it comes down to though. See, even if the games are free, it's still a time to install it and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, this is gonna sound so bizarre, but seeing install time that can make or break if you play a game. It's like you go to install stuff and then download. It's like, oh yeah, it's going 40 gig, and then that's going to take maybe like a half an hour, 40 minutes to download, maybe a little bit longer depending on what the internet's like at the time. Your opinion can sway a lot in that amount of time.
40 minutes is a long time.
It's like 40 minutes. Like, you know, I've talked about this on stream, right? It's like, you know when you have like post cum clarity. Like where like if you go to make any big decision in your life,
have
a wank first.
Your post-nut fog is gone.
Yeah, it's like once you've came, like you have the deepest clarity in the world.
Once you've came, you can come to a conclusion.
Yeah, but you know why? Because you got the venom out of you, and no longer you're being poisoned by a perspective. You no longer have a poisoned perspective.
Yeah.
See that 40 minutes between you downloading the game and playing the game. You could have a solid nut, and by the time you've had a come. You're like, why am I downloading this game? This is not really.
I don't want to play Dead Rising 4.
Yeah, like what the fuck is this? Like, why have I decided to do this? There's other games I could play, and I feel like this post-com clarity can sometimes hit you with that one. Like, you know, I'll admit it. Like sometimes, like I'll download a game. It's like, well, I got an hour to spare here because like the game's like 60 gig.
Yeah.
Let's have a wee wank. And then next thing you know, it's like, yeah, that wasn't. Why the fuck am I downloading this game? This game's shit.
Before I done that the other day with like what do you call it? The Evil Within. I was like, I'm gonna download this and I'm gonna play it, and I hit download, and then I just left the room.
I just forgot the game existed.
I literally just forgot it was downloading. I came back like 2 or 3 hours later, like, oh yeah, I downloaded that. Whatever. Just shut my computer down and just went and done something else. Like, I just find it almost impossible to play games on PC now. Yes, that's right, Tom. We're still here. You haven't been here the whole stream. Fuck you. Yeah,
what the fuck is that? I was like, you're still here. Where the fuck are you?
Are we inconveniencing you by still being here? You scumbag.
So yeah, like it was one of those ones where I was like, like, you know,
right. I want to know where you're gonna put.
You want to know where Oh yes, because I asked you to put Dead Rising. Didn't
I want to know where you're gonna put it.
Where you put what?
Where are you gonna put Lost Planet Extreme Condition? We're more important than your family.
Whoa, I'm not going to say that.
Well, I am at least.
I'm not more important than your family.
No. We're maybe on the same scale. I don't know. That is way higher than I expected you to put that. I expected that to go right in the bin.
No, it's not that bad. It's a difficult game. The whole thermal control stuff is a bit difficult.
It's not great
to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game.
That was a series that got progressively better, which it went with each installment.
The way I look at it is like, would I rather play Lost Planet or would I rather play Dead Rising or Bionic Commando? And that's the way I'm looking at this.
Right. Okay.
And there's no way in hell, like I wouldn't consider these two, but I would consider this.
I would have the first Lost Planet right beside Dead Rising 2. Like,
I can move it down. You want? If you want me to move it down, do you want to move it down?
Well, how did the chat feel?
Actually, yeah. Know what? How does the chat feel?
It's like
do we get our first poll here?
Lost Planet 1 was a fairly early 360 game, so a lot of people here may not have played it, but it had a lot of like early 360 game tropes with like pointless management systems and very, very clunky combat and horrible platform movement. Lost Planet 2 removed quite a lot of those horrible inconveniences, and then Lost Planet 3 was just I fucking love Lost Planet 3. It's by far the best one. Like,
I'm still salty about that.
I'm sorry, Ocean. Sorry.
I used to. You know what? I used to do these with
just to spite him.
No, I used to do these on Monday with you.
Yeah.
And I would come into work, and work ones would go, "The fuck are you doing that TEIR Maker?"
What's wrong with your opinion?
Yeah, I used to get that. I was like, "What the fuck are you thinking?" So, guys, let us know when it comes to Lost Planet. We got a poll up. There's a poll up. Thank you very much. Not so wicked.
Thank you. Not so
Vote,
wicked.
please, right now. Where would you think we should put Lost Planet?
I would say a lot of people probably haven't even played this, but that's just me.
It suffices. Don't worry. It's a good poll. That there is no votes though, so maybe no one gives them. Oh, already got a meh in there.
That was me.
You son of a bitch.
Ocean, if you have Lost Planet 3 in your backlog, say if you have a weekend where you have absolutely nothing fucking planned, play Lost Planet 3. You son of a bitch. You aha! Lost Planet 3, you can knock it out in about 2 days, but see if you just want like a solid like mid. It's not a mid-tier game. It's a good game, but with a story that is far better than you expect it to be, with like really great characters and a protagonist that looks a wee bit like Nicolas Cage for some reason. Play Lost Planet 3. Like, Lost Planet 1 and 2 didn't have a story at all. Didn't have a story whatsoever. Lost Planet 3 starts with like 25 minutes of cutscenes. Like, what is happening? And you're just, right from the start, I was like, I am genuinely invested in this game because I like these characters. I like him. I like the character. But if you're Italian,
it looks like it's going to go into
I think it's going to meh.
Look, it's going to go into meh. Meh.
Remove my vote. We'll
Can you do that?
I don't think so. No, you can't.
I like that the last one's called Buck Off. It's
Buck
clearly
off,
fuck off.
Fuck off, mate.
Okay, I'm just gonna move it there now because I can see how this poll's going. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But then I've got to ask, where you put Marvel vs. Capcom then?
Where am I putting Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Compared to other Marvel vs. Capcom games, a lot of people would probably consider it the worst one because it has no X-Men. There's no. It's pretty much all Capcom, very little Marvel.
The trailer features a lot of Marvel versus.
It's like movie Marvel though. It's like Marvel.
It's Avengers Marvel.
Yeah, it's Avengers. Like that game should be called Avengers versus Capcom.
Oh, the last guy's getting the bin. But yeah, we know what you meant though. We appreciate it.
What? It's a really good fighting game though. Like the game itself is really good. Like I don't know. I would put it in good. I would put it in good because it is a good fighting game. But I could move it down to meh if needs be because
I'm okay with it being in good.
It didn't get the biggest reception, but a lot of people just didn't play it.
So I think the biggest problem was that the gem system was kind of shit.
Yeah, but they fixed it though.
They fixed it.
Yeah, they did fix it. They did fix all that shit eventually. But like,
so I'm happy to put that there. I'm happy to put that there.
The roster is nowhere near as strong as previous games, but it's not necessarily the game's fault. It's Marvel's fault for being just.
They were restricted with the roster.
Yeah.
They have to give fans say what goes and what
they
doesn't
were like,
go in the game.
you know, you can't have any of the X-Men because all the X-Men are owned by Fox now. You know, which is a bit shite. Like, but it wasn't necessarily the game's fault, and it didn't start off in the best position, but it ended up in a good position.
Yeah,
it ended up in a very strong.
It got better as time went on.
It was a very strong fighting game in the end, and the story mode is fucking nut job.
Incredibly.
Like, so, what's that? You dirty bastard. I could move it down.
No, I'm okay with that.
I'm not crazy on it being
as fighting
good.
games goes, like it's nowhere as good as fucking Street Fighter 4.
No.
That I would, if you decided to put it in grid, I'd be like looking at you going, "Are you really trying to tell me it's good as Street Fighter 4?"
That's the thing though. If we had other Marvel vs. Capcom games in there, like if we had Fate of Two Worlds or
Fate of Two Worlds, I would argue, that would go into grid.
It would go down. But seeing as it's the only one there in context, I'm happy with that to go in good because that was the game I bought that like a few months after it came out when they had ironed out some of the first release bugs.
Yeah.
I just had a blast playing it. I was like, this is a great fighting game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The roster's not the best, but what's there is quite good. Like I was happy to play as Nova because I fucking love Nova and he's never been in one before, so I was fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm okay with that. Next one. What are you throwing at me here?
Which one would you rather talk about?
I could talk about either, but I want you to throw one at me.
I've finished Resident Evil 2 Remake a bunch of times, so I will have more invested in that. So where do you want to put Beautiful Joe?
I'd put Beautiful Joe probably in. You'll probably hate me for this, but I put it here.
Oh. I can live with that. I thought that's where it was going to go.
I don't, no problem. It's a good game. It's a great side scroll. If I remember correctly, side scroll sort of beat 'em up, sort of
slow motion,
film grain, sort of action movie, over the top silliness, like mechs and shit.
Yeah,
good game.
You turned into like a feisty Japanese robot.
Yeah,
when you supered and stuff.
It was a time when like the side scrolling beat 'em ups wasn't really at their prime. Like Capcom were kind of going out on a limb with this style of game. I mean, you had Castle Crashers and stuff that were like going about, but it was.
Oh, dude, this was way before that.
But this was like PS2. Like I mean, but like there wasn't that renaissance yet with Castle Crashers.
Yeah, this was a PS2 GameCube title. Like.
This was always
I'm pretty sure this. I'm almost entirely sure this was directed by the director of DMC1.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say it goes in good. Like
Yeah.
it's not like, I mean, I'm not rushing out to play it again.
I would,
and if the difference is like I would maybe go out of my way to do an Okami stream. I'd go out of my way to bring Street Fighter. If I got the fight stick,
I see that. Yeah.
I'd bring it the fight stick. Maybe do some Rise of Street Fighter 4.
See, between the two of us, we have 2 fight sticks. We probably should do a fighting game
at some point
night or something. I know if we're sticking purely to Street Fighter, I will physically beat the shit out of you. Whether you beat me in Street Fighter or not, that's fine. But there are other fighting games that I can destroy you at, so that's why I'm not too upset about that. Like, you fight me in Injustice.
You'll beat me.
I will cream you.
Any of the Marvel, not Marvel, sorry,
any of the Mortal Kombat. You're getting
any of the
yeah, anything that isn't
the NetherRealm system.
Yeah.
You beat me in.
Anything that isn't MK3 Ultimate. Because you would just use Cabal and do that stupid fucking spinny thing, which I hate, and it's impossible to counter.
No, I wouldn't use Cabal.
You would. You use Smoke, wouldn't you?
No.
You son of a bitch. You
would
use
use
Smoke.
Smoke.
Snoop's iBot. Snoop's and Smoke are the same fucking
They're
people.
really not.
They practically are.
They're not. Because they use totally different fucking goddamn
We're not getting
moves.
into this. This is not a Mortal Kombat stream. It should be. It could be, but it won't be. Won't be for
They
now.
use totally different combat moves, so don't start that.
It's all teleporting. It's all teleporting and wipes. Fuck Lottie.
You know, Raiden does the same thing.
He does, but he has one teleport move, and it's easy to get out of the way of. But Smokes and Noob Cybots are not. Because it's just like, and you're fucked.
I mean,
but
Sector
Cabal,
as well is pretty bad for it.
Cabal's motherfucking running move where it leaves you stun locked. Fuck that thing.
That's if you just block, it blocks. If you just use the block button, it blocks it. You just need to learn how to block.
It's just it happens really fast. Like if he does it right in front of you, you can't see it coming.
Learn to block.
How dare you? How dare you, son of a bitch? So we're down to the last game.
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2. It's no question. Put it in the bin.
Alright.
Because it shits on the original game. It's terrible. It's full of modern stuff.
There's
like a
bin.
bunch of DLC for it that didn't even include it in the main game. What a fucking crock of shit.
Straight in the fucking
Capcom,
bin.
sort your fucking life out. What's wrong with you, piece of shit?
Like,
get
what
it in the best. Get it in the best. Get it out of that bin. Put it in the best.
I was waiting for our chat to react. I go, what the fuck are you doing?
Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's probably the best Resident Evil game that there is. Like,
I mean, Resident Evil 2 before they even remade it was arguably the best Resident Evil game.
It was still a strong contender, but like as far as that old kind of like spooky Resident Evil game goes,
yeah,
because we know they didn't knock it out of the park every time.
No.
Resident Evil 3.
That remake was
that Resident Evil 3 remake was
lackluster.
Short. We'll put it down as short. To be fair, that wasn't Capcom's A team that made that though.
No,
that was the team who just got kicked off the Resident Evil 4 remake. So it was an M2 they were called. So that wasn't the same it wasn't the same team that made that Resident Evil 2 remake, but it just goes to show you how right that motherfucking thing got it. Like Resident Evil 2, to be fair, not a very long game. You can finish it in maybe like 8 hours or so. Right? Well, 7, 8 hours
per character.
Hours.
But then that brings it to 16 in total.
Then it's got all the different scenarios. It's got like the hunk. It's got fucking tofu. It's got all the survivor chapters. Like there's a ton of shit in that game, and you can go back and do it a whole fucking different bunch of ways. I'll tell you this though, the most enjoyable way I done it, unlimited rocket launcher. That was fucking great crack.
It's just like, 1 second, I'm just going to devastate everything in my path.
I finished that game in about 3 hours. It was great. I didn't save.
I tore their asses asunder.
I didn't save once. I just fucking went for it. Anytime somebody come near you, what's that unlimited rocket launcher with no splash damage? Ha-cha-ha! Get away from me, you cunt. Put it on the hardest difficulty and just run through it, and it was great crack. Like I know I was nerfing it, I know I was cheating, but I don't care because it was fun.
I mean, it's also the game, right?
I had already beat it, but a couple of times at that point, it was like, you know what? I'm just going to run through this as quickly as I can. Because we streamed this game.
We done the Leon playthrough.
Yeah, we streamed it in your old house.
No, we done here, dude.
No, it was we done it downstairs.
I swore we done here because I could swear that we're facing that wall there.
Guaranteed, it was your old house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was like when it originally came out, and I fucking loved it, and I still love it. I still go back and like play it every once in a while. I haven't done too much of like the really hard shit in it, just because I find that stuff kind of frustrating, and you need to really work on it and do it for ages, and I don't really have that kind of time anymore, unfortunately. But a phenomenal game, and I'm happy to go back and give it a go every once in a while. So I'm pretty happy with that order. I don't think anyone's going to argue.
I'm pretty happy with that order too as well.
With any of that shit.
You know, it's one of those ones where I did the hunk mode in the DLC and they fucking hated them.
The hunk mode is just punishing. Like, to be fair, a good run is only supposed to take you about 14 minutes. That's the whole point. Is you're supposed to do it just fucking quickly. But it literally comes down to, did you move left enough? Or did you turn around quickly enough? It's you get hit once and you're dead if you do it on like the correct up. If you do it on like the hardest difficulty, which I think you can actually have to. It's there's a couple of areas where you have to take out what's in front of you, but the 90% of it you're literally just running. And if you have to run in the right way, or you get caught, you need to start again because it's like a survival thing. It's like you're dead, you're back to the start.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you have to kind of keep redoing the fucking thing. But
so I want to ask something to you folks who are watching this later. What do you think of our list? Would you put these games in a different order? And if so, what order? Let us know in the comments below. For our guys in the Twitch chat, join us live. And if you want to join us live, guys, on the YouTube side of things, you could do so at twitch.tv/itspvg.
We'll put a thing up on screen somewhere.
Yeah. We're going to be doing these weekly now, of course. You know, and so you'll be able to check those out, guys. We're going to try and make these lists a little bit more.
He is really caught up about us putting Dead Rising in Meh.
You know, there's always a one or two games. There we go. Perfect.
That's right.
You fixed it.
Exactly where it belongs. Thanks very much, Ocean. You were right. You know what? You were right.
You're right, Ocean.
Man was too high. That's better.
That's better.
Yes, I knew you would enjoy that.
You out there.
Let's fucking go.
But yeah, obviously it's one of those ones, guys. We're going to be bringing these into our into the.
I think
brain is away into the talk show more regularly.
A tier maker is a nice way to wind down.
We wind down. Obviously, people can chat away for stuff, and obviously, you know, these tier makers will probably be a little bit more easy going for people once we like. I mean, Capcom kind of picked a bit of a niche this time.
Yeah, we'll stick with developers for a while, but we'll broaden it out a little.
We'll
bit
broaden it out for a wee while. I think the idea is that we want to try and keep the list small, so probably keep it maybe a 15 maximum.
Yeah,
because like as we've done today, like we've been doing Tier Maker, it's probably been close to like an hour and a bit, and it's only been 12 entries. That just shows you
when we used to do this. Yeah, we spent. It was like
4 hours,
25,
40.
25 entries, 30 entries, 40 entries, and it was all. We were here fucking all night. We could just do an entire show of this.
Yeah,
because people would be complaining.
They would, like tier makers were a thing that we used to do, like a thing called Tier Maker Monday.
Yeah,
and that was a thing. But yeah, that's our tier maker for this week, guys. We should probably switch on over to the normal pod screen.
Capcom, we love you. You're a brilliant developer. We love you. Mwah.
Mwah.